I haven't seen you in 2 weeks and you've never met me before, my name is Lindsay Helm. I'm the founder and CEO of, I'm going to duck, Empower Employ, where we are connecting the corporate workforce to technology solutions and education solutions. Specifically on Empower Hour, we spend time introducing the military community to employers who are military ready, military friendly, hiring remote, in positions that just make sense for our community. And I am beyond excited to talk to you all today and introduce you to my guests. So I'm going to pause though and tell you, if you're watching this right now, take a minute to hit the share button and tag a friend, because you do not want to miss what I am bringing to you today and serving up on a magical platter with Align HCM. We have some magical guests today, one of which is a brand new hire straight out of the Empower Employee ecosystem. Military spouse, can talk to all of the programs, and another person. So I'm going to bring Chris and Mindy up to the stage and have them tell you a little bit about who they are and what they are doing with their company, the positions they have available, and tell you how to apply so you can get #hired. So welcome to the stage, Chris and Mindy. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are live and everybody's watching. They are so excited. So let's kick it off with, I'm going to give it to Mindy first, because Chris has been here before, but now we get to bring more people and it's way cooler. So Mindy, could you tell the world a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Mindy Harris, and I'm a military spouse with 25 years, various IT experience over the years. I started my career at a life insurance company, which I was at for about 21 years, and there I held several different positions, worked my way up the ranks in IT, networking, system administration, help desk, telecom. I've also held several roles at the Fort Drum MTC as well as the Fort Bliss MTC. I started with Align HCM on March 6th of this year. I decided it was time to change my longtime networking career and kind of go down a different road. I was interested in the people aspect and the software aspect instead of all the hardware and programming. Align's given me the opportunity to do that, yet still utilize my IT knowledge and experience, because I don't want to lose that either. I have a Bachelor of Science in Human Development, and I was from Binghamton University back in New York. And I also have an associate's degree in business management marketing from Broome Community College back in New York.
Yeah, so tons of skill sets, and it's great to hear that Align has given you the opportunity to pivot but still keep your skills, because that's always like a concern, I think, especially when, like myself, I was in the tech field and I pivoted out of tech, kind of into tech HR, back into tech. And it's just great when you have an employer that's willing to recognize the different skill sets and utilize them in one space. It was kind of always my problem too, because people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Man, I want to be all the things. That's what I want to be. So very cool to hear that. So Chris, could you share with the world and our viewers, and for those of you who are watching, if you do have questions as they pop up, you can jump them in the chat and I'll get them at the end. But Chris, can you tell the world about who you are, what you do, your background, your story, a little bit about the company, and then we'll just keep it going.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you said, I'm Chris Coburnis, and I'm a retired Air Force senior NCO. I was an Intel specialist or Intel operations specialist for 20 years. I really love the Air Force, but I hit my 20 years and I said, I got to pivot now or I'll be too old. So after leaving the service, I went to do my MBA and joined Accenture Strategy, picking up consulting before joining Align, where I'm currently the sales operations manager. I started out as a project manager, but now I support our entire sales cycle, connecting with leads, connecting with our sellers, discussing solutions that our partner offers, UKG, and how we deliver their services or how we deliver their software to our clients, go over scoping, pricing, contract negotiations, and finally transitioning that over to our delivery team, our consultants like Mindy, so they can continue continue that with them. And the thing I want to maybe highlight as we talk about it, it's easy to think about all those big names that are out there, whether it be Deloitte, whether it be AT&T. You could talk about all the Intuits. But the really thing that I'm excited about as a small organization and about 60 people now, is that it's easier. Sometimes these startups we're in hyper growth, that we might not be the perfect match, but we want to be able to transition people, give you the skills needed, and train you stay with us for a long time. So don't always look at the big names, look at the smaller names. Yeah, we don't have 100 openings. I wish we did, but that will be there someday.
Yeah, so let's talk about, and my brain always flips this backwards, so I'm going to do my best. So it's Align HCM, not HCM Align. So let's talk about, what is Align HCM? What do you do at its core? I know your individual roles, but when you hear like payroll processing, outsourced HR, what is it really?
No, that's a really great question. It's important to cover that, because what is it that we do? And I think everybody probably understands a little bit about our end goal, but we are helping every organization implement their new HRIS software, their human resource information system software. And that includes everything, as you mentioned, payroll. How do I pay my people? How do I take in, before you get paid, you have to clock in on a time clock maybe, or enter your time on the computer. How do we help our companies, help our clients with those challenges? And then if you think about payroll and punching in and tracking your time, it's all about the add-on pieces, your human resources, when you're hired, what benefits are you eligible for along the way, making sure you get signed up, and that gets over to those benefit providers. And then everything that goes along with HR, when you think about that, performance management, talent acquisition, helping with our employers, connecting on the recruiting platforms, and making their life slightly easier. So we do everything along those lines, as well as helping our clients with strategy and post-implementation, maintaining their system, maintaining everything going after that, and identifying problems along the way.
Well,
and solutions, not just problems. More important, solutions to their problems.
Yeah, and that's very, very cool. So I popped your website up on the screen just for people to look at it here, and we'll pop it up on the ticker as well. Just give me a minute. I'll drop the link in the chat. While we are, let me stop sharing. There we go. And do a cool little ticker banner. Look, I'm managing my own things today. We're so proud. So here's the website. But so Mindy, you're the newest hire, right? Let's talk about kind of the training that's offered and kind of your experience to date, and share kind of, what you love. I know I hate to put you on the spot because you always want to tell people what you love in front of your employer, but tell me what you've learned. Tell me all the things.
Okay. I've been there, like I said in my introduction, since March 6th. Since then, I've been going through pretty extensive training that they have. They take you through what's called Align Academy, and you do all the UKG training. You have some instructor-led training. You have what's called Ignite training, and that's when you work with what's called an enablement coach, who's been through all of this and has years of experience to help you out and to really train you and really set you up. There's a small group of us going through that now, and this enablement coach is kind of, for lack of a better term, assigned to you or the small group to help you through the whole thing, and even help you all the way through, your first shadowing of clients with, senior consultants, and, getting you to a point where you can actually stand on your own, and even helping you go through your first go live, which is, a ways down the road. The one thing I can say is, better than probably most companies that I've seen, their training is stellar. I mean, it's very good. It's very well thought out, very well put together. And they really do set you up for success. I mean, the success of them depends on us, on the consultants and what we do and how we do it. So the better that they set you up, the better it is for everyone all the way around. I feel very supported. I felt very comfortable going through the training. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to read. There's a lot to cover, and there's a lot. And I do think that anybody experienced or not necessarily in this field, as I stated, I come with a lot of networking and telecom and help desk and more hardware experience. I've implemented many IT solutions, whether it be hardware, software, but the consulting side and then the people side is what I feel like I'm missing, and that's what I was really seeking, for a career. And Lindsay, I think I had put that out there to you a few times, and I can't thank you enough for pointing me in the direction of Chris and Align, because it's all worked out really well. And also the remote factor, I've never actually been a remote employee because of my jobs. I've even when COVID was going on, I was emergency essential and on site most of the time. So the remote is really nice, and I like that. And knock on wood, we don't move again, but if we do, that enables me, the flexibility to move with my husband and go and still and not have to switch jobs again. So it's really nice, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm super excited to get through the training, go through the Ignite training, and get started with clients.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, yeah, this is a definite fit. And then Chris obviously is going to know, but not know. But, Mindy and I met her and I just was like in awe because she's just so talented. And I kind of got the sense that they didn't quite know what to do with me either. So that's okay. But we, I'm so glad that she has landed with you guys. So Mindy, when you're talking about training, how long does training really take?
It's going to take about 8 to 12 weeks. I think it's about 12. I'll be at about maybe a little bit more than the 12-week mark by the time I actually start shadowing a senior consultant with a customer. I have been listening in on some meetings and some phone calls, but probably about 12, maybe 12 to even 15 weeks till you're finally able to be delivered to touch base with clients and actually, start getting in and doing some of the programming and the configuration along with somebody who's been doing it for longer.
Got it. Let me pop this up on the screen so you know how to get in contact with you all. So for you, we talked about 8 to 12 weeks from first project support to coaching and mentorship. Chris, could you talk about, that training sounds like a really long period, but how do you stay motivated and continue to grow? What do you recommend, while people are going through training or just in your field in general?
Yeah, and I don't think it has anything to do with my field. I think this goes along with any job and any position you're in. But yes, it is 8 to 12 weeks, and it is a lot of knowledge. But we want to impart that we are really stepping in and we're advising those CHROs, we're advising operation leaders, and that takes a lot of background knowledge to talk to someone who's been in the industry for 20, 30 years and sometimes leading organizations with 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 employees, to talk to them about their needs and how you can help them solve that. So there's a couple of ways that I go through staying motivated. One, I'm always reading and I have an inquisitive mind. I want to know what's going on in the world. So I'm looking at our internal articles, our internal communications, and our partner communications. I'm even looking at our competitor details. I want to be able to say why I'm better than a competitor and how I can help them. I keep up with industry associations. I think, I was in the Air Force, and you're in the Air Force Association or the Army Association. Well, they have the same thing on, on the civilian side, Payroll Association, SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, keeping up with details there, just keeping up with news technologies. And I think the other thing, maybe the motive, maybe that keeps me going or keeps me learning and growing is taking the risk. People are going to ask you to do things that you may not be comfortable with. You shouldn't be shying away from that. You should be saying, you know what? I may need a little help along the way, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn this new thing, and I'm going to continue to grow and learn new skills or add new skills to my toolbox that I could use along the way.
That's amazing. So, can you tell us about, when we talk about the company, the resources and support provided to employees during their time at the company? And then I'm going to jump over to the chat because Robin has joined. I want to be like Robin has joined. Robin has joined the chat. We have some questions from her, but can we talk about the employee resources, the benefits of working with your company, the standard work hours, day in the life? Give us the tea. We need the tea, Chris. Tell us everything.
So I think, one of the things, the resources, I guess, Mindy talked about the training resources, but and the resources to support our people through their development. But, we do offer 401k, and 401k match. We provide employee coverage, so we're not charging, or we're not asking the employee to participate in the health benefits, vision, medical. And we do have, I wish I could say I knew which wellness programs we're in, but sometimes this job is stressful, and we want to be able to have people be able to take that break. The other thing is, sometimes in this industry, it is cyclical. There is no 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. You're meeting with clients who might be in California one day, or sometimes in Germany, or even in Asia. So part of it is making your own schedule, setting your time. We usually expect about 32 to 35 hours a week in front of a client, and the other 5 to 10, 5 to 10 hours a week, you're working on yourself or an internal, making sure you're keeping up with training. We still have to do computer-based training and make sure we know how to protect information. So
that's amazing. So I do, I know I said I was going to go to the chat because people are popping in. Corey's here, Tony's here. They have all the questions, but I want to highlight a couple of the roles that you all are hiring for now. And I think if I misspeak again, please, correct me. You talked about earlier, I think you said a junior implementation consultant. Can you highlight that role, kind of roles and responsibilities, and what you're looking for? And then I'll jump over to the chat and take a couple questions and go from there. But your priority roles, kind of what those are, what the baseline requirements are, what you're looking for in a resume, personality skill, the whole thing. We got Mindy here, so we know that we did something right. And Mindy is our picturesque employee. But yeah, so tell us the things.
So I think one of the primary areas we've been hiring lately is those we call them associate implementation consultants around HR and payroll, and then your time and attendance. You have two different kind of flavors or primary areas. We also have some associate technical consultants. So those are people who are a little bit more technical on the data side. They have some better SQL skills, maybe some BI power, reporting skills, and then integration API skills. But really along those areas, I think, as Mindy said, we can probably teach you the industry, and we can teach you how to configure some of the systems based on the rules. What's really important, what we really look for, is those communication skills. How do you communicate with clients? How do you listen to what you hear and communicate back to them? I heard you say this. Is this what you mean? So be able to dig into some of their questions and get to the real solution or real issue of the problem that you're going to help them drive to resolution.
Gotcha. And for the interview process at Align HCM, is it star interview format? Can you walk us through, like, I want to work here. I've heard everything that I need to hear today. Sign me up. I know Tony specifically is somebody that I've been watching on LinkedIn that would be like, sign me up today. What does this look like from a process perspective?
Oh my goodness, I might have to give that one to Mindy because I'm sure it's changed over the time. And to be honest, I haven't. I don't get to do most of the interviews. I haven't done one, so we try to let our managers on the teams that do that, and I don't have anyone that works for me yet. So,
so Mindy, what was it like for you? Like step one, apply at website. Like, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, step one is apply on the website. Or email your resume to Chris, whichever. But no, apply on the website. And step two was basically kind of a meet and greet call with Angie. who's the VP of Talent Acquisition. And once you get through her, they set you up with one of the senior coaches or senior implementation specialists. And then if you are successful through that call and that interview, you go to the next level, which is the strategy officer, I think is his title. I'm almost positive. Strategy officer. And then you meet with him. And then just if you get through that, then the next steps is an offer letter. So it was pretty smooth. Mine took a little bit of time. I came in right around the holidays and everything slows down. Everybody's, busy or not there or off for the holidays. So, but it worked out really well for me and the timing was perfect for me. So it couldn't have been any better. But the interview process was easy, and everybody I've talked to is very, very easy to communicate with and really easy to talk to.
That's amazing. So I want to take you to the chat because we got tons of questions. We're going to answer a couple of these questions and then we'll tell you all how to connect with this amazing team. So the first one that I saw, and I think we may have covered it, but I just want we want answers, right? So we want to know from the chat, what if you have HRIS experience, but not necessarily UKG and Kronos, which I think is time clocking, right? Or experience in tech solutions. Is it still possible to get into Align? Thank you, XOXO. Love an amazing military spouse.
So absolutely, if you have that, HRIS background experience, even if it's not UKG, that certainly puts you the step ahead of everyone else that we're looking at. The other thing that we're, not just HRIS experience, but industry experience. Have you been a payroll manager? Have you done payroll? Have you been in the HR seat or doing some of those roles, or even a time and attendance position where you're looking at time systems and applying government regulations to make sure that when Mindy works 9 hours this week, if she's eligible for overtime, she gets overtime, right? So yes, if you've been in any of those roles, you're better able to communicate and you understand what our clients are in. We could teach you the system, and if you have HRIS specific experience, even better.
Awesome. So another question, we had a heart in our chat, so that sounds like good feedback. Another question is, what would a starting point look like for somebody coming in from talent acquisition as a recruiter with no experience as a consultant? But I would argue on that comment before Chris or Mindy answers that question that when you are a recruiter, you are a consultant, whether you know it or not. We know that TA is a hard field right now. But as a recruiter, you're giving your opinion and feedback and coordinating and communicating with candidates and hiring managers. So you're kind of a consultant already. Maybe you just didn't think about it that way. But what does that look like for you, Chris? I know you have, pivoted around, and Mindy clearly pivoted.
No, and I think you hit on a key point. I think there's a lot of skills that you could draw on, not just from maybe being a recruiter in the Army or the military service or in the professional world, but I think almost all of us at one point, especially if you've had a longer military career, have skills that you can offer. You've been a project manager. You've probably led some projects. We certainly have project management roles open up occasionally. So you have the experience. It's how you frame that experience in your resume. And, just like everybody, I hate saying this, but the unfortunate reality is we will get 600 resumes for one open position. And as a small organization with 60 people so far, I wish I could hire every single military spouse or, a transitioning veteran or even every person that walks in our door. But we do, we get a lot. So we're reading your resume, and if it doesn't make sense, like it really, they usually send the military ones to me so I can go try to dig in a little bit more. But trying to get that message across, I take the time to do it, but not everybody at our organization, or I shouldn't say, not everybody at every organization is really going to take the time to dig deeper and give you that opportunity to at least have the conversation and talk about how your military experience or your military spouse experience translate into this role.
But lucky for those of you watching, my organization does have a partnership with the Department of Labor, and we will do that for you. But you need to reach out to your local Department of Labor TAP office and ask them for a referral here so I can sit with you and do the connections. And you can also find Chris and Mindy inside of our app, which is empower.fun. But moving on, because the questions just keep coming. I know we're way over time, but this is so cool to see everyone come for you all. Really good question. So would you recommend applying to open positions despite not meeting the minimum experience requirements? If not, would you expect there to be an open position available for recent graduates in the near future? I recently just graduated with my MS in business analytics and information systems. Sounds like Mindy's new BFF. I'm a lifelong learner, and the notoriety of Align HCM for their focus on professional development and focus is truly amazing. So clearly Steph here has done her research on the company, is an eager beaver, and sounds like she's ready to go. So what advice could we give her for a company like yourself?
I would tell Steph to send me her resume. We are building right now a recent graduate cohort over the summer. So we're trying to put together as many talk about cohort. We try to hire people in groups to get through training. Gives you some ability to communicate and learn about each other and build a team and work together with other people. But we are putting together our first recent graduate cohort and trying to bring together those graduates this summer. So send me your resume. I'd love to have the opportunity to try to get you into that one.
Yep. And Steph, we dropped in the comments careers at alignhcm.com. I'm pretty sure if you reach out there that they'll be able to reach back out to you. These questions just keep coming. So thank you for being so patient. I'm going to pop this up on the screen. Welcome, Bethany, our transitioning service member today. Be transitioning out of the Air Force with 15 years in intelligence. What items would stand out in certifications that would make a resume shine for this type of background?
So I think I mentioned I transitioned out of intelligence, right? When I first started applying, and it depends on where you are in intelligence, but I told them I am a consultant. Part of my job as an intel specialist was advising commanders, hearing about what challenges they're having on the battlefield, or telling them what's happening on the battlefield, and trying to talk to them about recommended solutions with your operations, team, etc. So thinking about what you do in the military in a different perspective to try to translate that into what we do here in the civil, I shouldn't say we, but in the civilian sector, there's so many opportunities out there, and thinking about what you have done, your history, your past, what your experiences are in a different way that's going to make sense to those who don't have that experience as well.
But certification wise, is there a specific one on your resume that if you saw it? I mean, I think HRIS systems, it's not like certified HRIS system specialist like CompTIA or whatever. But there's nothing that says must be SHRM certified to do this job.
No, we have no, there are no industry certifications. We have some specific system certifications that we provide the training for. In fact, UKG in general is, there's a lack of certified individuals, so they're always growing their certification pipeline as well.
All right. I think this is the last question, unless somebody sends me a Hail Mary. There's a little bit of a delay. I'm going to pop this up here. New question from Tiffany. She wants to know, are there any internship, fellowship options for spouses that have master's degree but no experience? I think we may have covered that. It sounds like you're building something, but let's dig into it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this goes back to kind of knowing where the company is in their life cycle. When you're looking at some of the smaller companies with, I think we have 50 or 60 employees, we just don't have the background or the support structure for internships and fellowships yet, unfortunately. As we continue to grow, that's obviously something that's on our radar. And as well as the Skill Bridge program, but it just takes a lot of work to get there. And when you're focusing on, I have to pay Mindy and everybody else, our focus is on really have to support people who are going to be in the front lines, if you will, and be a consultant, so we can continue to grow our back end, but before we have the back end support, we need to be able to bring in the revenue and think about the business cycle there. So.
Completely fair. So I think we've covered kind of how to get in touch with you. I've got your LinkedIn in the chat. We did the email address, which is careers@hcmalign.com. We have the website that's going to be in this. Was there any other kind of closing thoughts from yourself or Mindy that you'd like to share with our viewers before we jump off today? I will tell you, world, that in the event that you can't get a hold of Mindy or Chris, which I highly doubt because both of which are extremely responsive, you're more than welcome to connect with us and follow us at Empower Employee, and I will hand walk you via email to them. But last call on advice or information or things you'd like to share before we sign off.
I mean, I think my only advice as someone who's transitioned out of the military is really take the time to think about the skills that you have. I would venture to guess that almost everyone has the right skills. It's a matter of translating those. Even military spouses, I mean, if you think about all the work you do taking care of the family, your project planning, let's be honest, you're making sure people in the right place at the right time, and you're communicating those details to your spouse, your children, your friends. That's what a project planner does. Yes, there may be a little more technical aspects of that, but think about how you translate what you've done to those hiring the hiring managers, and unfortunately, in the world we live in, how you put it on your resume so it gets through all those different ATSs.
Yeah. Mindy, what about you? Any last minute advice for anybody watching, currently where you are? I feel like there's a song that we learned in nursery rhyme school for my kids. It was like, you gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. Yeah, I just sang in front of all of you, whatever. But any advice for anybody going through the hiring process right now or job seeking?
As far as going through the hiring process, be patient. I think because it is a smaller company and they're still working through all the changes and all the positions that they're creating, it's just taking a little bit of time. Like I stated, it took a little bit of time for me too. Just be patient and reach back out. If you do apply and you haven't heard anything, just reach back out. Somebody will get back to you. And other than that, if you are feeling like you want to apply, I strongly encourage it. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, I bet it is. I'm a little jealous. I can't come with you all full time, but I've got this whole company thing you all know about my personal life. So we'll get there later. But I want to take the time to thank you all for joining us today on Empower Hour. For those of you who have never seen the show before, hopefully you found this extremely helpful. And tune in and click follow and follow Align HCM on LinkedIn, follow their jobs, reach out to Mindy and Chris. You are in charge of your hiring adventure. And I joke and say, take the helm. You're a leader. Take charge. Do it. If you're going to get hired, it's definitely in your hands. So thank you so much for joining, guests and viewers. Please share this out and tag somebody who might be interested. Steph, you're welcome. We would love to continue to facilitate these discussions. If you'd like to be featured as a veteran or a military spouse talent, I would love to start highlighting some of those as well. Or if you're a company that needs this level of discussion and interactive, please reach out to me to schedule your next call. So thank you all for watching. I look forward to having you tune back in 2 weeks and have a great week.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay, for all you're doing for the community as well. So
yeah, well, now
Definitely. Thank you.
Ashley, check through the things and we'll get you the replay. They said great information, and as a spouse and Air Force veteran with a bachelor's degree, starting to get discouraged, but it's absolutely in my hands. And Ashley, we're here to support you. Everybody on this call will support you. And it's not just lip service. Like, ask Mindy. It took me months to stalk her, but in a very professional way. It happens. So thank you all again for watching. We're going to sign off, but feel free to send us your messages, your comments, and we'll go from there. Have a great week.